Thank you very much. It's exciting to actually see live faces out there after a year. I presented navigation here last year in February, and then since then, as we all know what's happened, it's nice to be off the Zoom and be live again. We're developing an intelligent surgical system for measuring margins during cancer therapy. One of our primary target is lung cancer. Lung cancer is probably 25, 30 years behind prostate or breast cancer early diagnosis. And that's changing quite dramatically. There was a study done with over 50,000 patients that identified a 20% reduction in mortality by early diagnosis of lung cancer. And just recently, the US Preventative Task Force actually lowered the age of early stage diagnosis in using a CT scan to identify early lesions for lung cancer. So this is a very exciting time and very dynamic time to start looking at new surgical approaches for removing these early stage lesions. So what we've done is looked at how can we do this through a wedge resection, preserving as much healthy tissue as possible, but also providing an oncological safe resection for the patient. And do that in a minimally invasive way and reduce post-operative complications and pain. Currently right now, when they do a thoracoscopic resection, they feel or try to feel or locate the lesion within the lung. This becomes very, very difficult, particularly for these early stage lesions that are less than 2 centimeters in size. So what we've done is created a GPS mechanism by first identifying where the lesion is within the lung itself, provide a guidance for precisely cutting and measuring that distance from where the lesion is or the tumor is, and then do that in a minimally invasive manner. We do this by placing an electromagnetic sensor percutaneously with a needle through the chest wall or directly under direct visualization. Also on the stapling system or on the resection device, we also place another electromagnetic sensor. And through our software, we're able to then tell the clinician in real time what the distance is from the cut line to our lesion or where the electromagnetic sensor has been placed. This can be placed by multiple methods. One is by direct feel, like what they're currently doing now, or through intraoperative imaging. And then third, through a bronchoscopic delivery mechanism, where we place our electromagnetic sensor through the bronchoscope into the lung itself, and then do the surgical resection in the operating room. This is a cadaver study that we did. Here you see the placement with the 18-gauge needle directly into the lung itself of our electromagnetic sensor. The sensor is deployed and guided through our software system. And this has algorithms that adjust for changes in the position of the lung in real time. During the actual resection itself, here shows the deployment. The clinician will see on the thoracic screen the distances called out from the stapler mechanism in real time on how far it is the margin from the cut line would be. And you'll see that coming up in a moment here. And this is representative of the cadaver study in the distances. In this instance, they were looking to get around a 25 millimeter, 30 millimeter from the actual lesion itself. Here you see the stapler come in, and we track the stapler with the electronic sensor built into it. We've adapted sensors for the Medtronic stapler and looked at other stapling mechanisms as well to be able to add a snap-on or ultimately built it into the system itself. And this is the remaining tissue that takes the electronic magnetic stapler and the fiducial marker that's placed in the tissue is removed at the time of surgery. We've looked at the total addressable market, both US, 5 EU countries, as well as Europe, as being quite significant, combining both the lung, liver, thyroid, neuro, and brain, which are additional marketplaces that we look to enter in with this type of resection device. We are a 510K Class 2 type device, and there are predicates in the marketplace in the bronchial space that we'll use as our predicate for the applications. We have a number of patents that are now currently pending, both the US and Europe, covering the technology and the algorithms. We have also, over this last year, since we were here last, we've received an IDE from the FDA to start a clinical study, and the IRB at the Brigham and Women's Hospital has approved our clinical for 25 patients. And we're enrolling now and anticipate within the next week or 2 weeks we'll have our first patient that will be doing using this procedure for lung cancer. So just to give you a rough idea, we've raised $2.5 million. We closed following a February meeting here. We're starting our B round raise, look to close sometime at the end of the third or fourth quarter of this year, which will be a $7 million raise that'll take us through the regulatory process for our development. We see that there's clear strategics both in the robotic space as well as the bronchial navigation. We sit very close in the bronchial navigation side from the diagnostic standpoint, but transitioning that patient to surgery with our embedded electromagnetic sensor, as well as a number of the endoscopy companies that are in the marketplace now looking to enter into surgical navigation or intelligent surgical approaches for cancer therapy. Both the board and our SAB include thoracic surgeons, liver surgeons, interventional pulmonologists, as well as our neurosurgeons, all marketplaces that we plan to enter, and these are all also investors in our company. So to close, we're seeking now a $7 million round. We're just launching it with our first in-human clinical study. We see that as a major milestone for the next phase of our capital raise that'll take us through the regulatory process. So with that, I close. I'm happy to meet you. I think we have breakout rooms down the hall, and I would be happy to meet you to discuss further the development of our company. Thank you.